You never know. But
Dire
my big
team
thing
pick.
was neither of these lanes are really good for a Sven to lane into, right? The Batrider, of course, is going to make any melee's life rough. And then a Bloodseeker as well. You need to come forward to get those last hits. And if you could just be spamming out those Blood Rights, then Sven can't really do too much of anything. And you're going to be able to, not necessarily kill
10
him,
seconds
but
remaining.
seriously hinder the amount of farm that he's able to get in lane. And then a Hoodwink as well,
5
one of those
seconds
heroes that's
remaining.
fantastic about just putting out a lot of harass in the laning stage. Good movement speed, although slightly nerfed, and good attack range, decent damage, good attack animation. So I think they're just trying to bop them away little bits at a time. But again, none of this is like amazing at dealing with a Chen. That's my big
Mm.
concern. Like, what about the Beastmaster? What if they just Beastmastered after this and then put the Pango onto Borax?
Then you'd be in a real sticky situation. Like, how do you defend towers? Like you're saying, you're kind of relying on your, more than likely, your position 2 here from MagMa to have some deep push potential, but having all that emphasis on just one hero can be very grim with how fast Team Aster can take objectives. I'm wonder if they're going to do the thing like you're talking about, give Borax the Pango. If they don't, I'd really like a save here against the Batrider, like a Shadow Demon's pretty good because you've got the setup with a Sharpshooter.
Give me the
Red
Venge.
team
I want to see a
back.
Venge.
Okay, so I didn't think they'd go for a 3.
5.
True. Okay, they do like the wacky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
10
Means that
seconds remaining.
a Sven's actually able to in lane against the Batrider,
seconds
stay
remaining.
there. Of course, it's a strength hero, and then you could just even if it's into a Blood Right, you could tank the silence, immediately get it purged off, and then continue to fight with the extra regen that you're going to get. And as well, on top of that, the support style was buffed up. I think they changed the talent on the LC, so now it gives um, a lot more moment of courage. Not moment of courage. Press the attack. HP regen at level 15, another plus 40, I think, which
Yep.
brings it up to 100 HP regen per second for 5 seconds. So that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, so I think now with the Legion, you have to play him against the Batrider. That's the reason you're picking the hero with the soft dispel in the lane and then the hard dispel as the game goes on. So whether that is going to be the support and you just sit it behind Sven and then you kind of push the priority a little bit more on the Chen, or if he's playing the position 3 on Legion, you lane him versus the Batrider. And Aster, pretty decent tri lane at the moment. I mean, Chen, Sven, Pango 4 is feels very level dependent and a bit weak in the early lanes. So they might get, at least in that regard, he may be penalized a bit.
And I really would have liked the Venge, though. Like, I know they needed some kind of dispel, but everything about it synergizes well this game. You can swap someone in and have Sven cleave him down so he doesn't have to run around, which nullifies the effect of the Bloodseeker and the Batrider.
Radiant
Of course,
team
minus
back.
armor is good. You've got a lot of units for the Vengeance aura. And, of course, the ultimate recently buffed so that you're taking a lot less damage after the swap. So, I don't know. I like it. I want to see it. And which Chinese team is going to be the first one to bite the bullet? I think it's a little bit too late now that they've gone into the LC
10
pick, though.
seconds remaining.
What would you like to see, though, position 2 wise from either
5
team?
seconds remaining.
Maybe actually they even
Dire
still put the
team
Batrider
back.
as the position 2 just so they can dodge that LC lane. But overall, Aster have ultra last pick. So if they do reveal the Bat mid, then maybe Aster can get a little bit cute and give it to White Album. Like, I really feel like you want the Legion versus the Bat.
I feel like you do as well, but I mean, what else
10
can you potentially
seconds
go for
remaining.
here? A Slark isn't horrible. You can just.
5 seconds
There's
remaining.
not a huge amount of damage that can go through a Shadow Dance, so even if you get the Rupture put onto a Slark, then you're somewhat survivable. And then, of course, in the laning stage, you are able to just
Radiant
purge off
team pick.
the sticky napalm.
The Bloodseeker is one of the toughest
Dire
matchups, though,
team
for the Slark.
Sure.
Behold the horn of Magnus.
Okay. Gives you some BKB piercing control. It's not clear from afar with the Magnus, so it's still going to be difficult to kill off the Chen.
You may now
And we'll
select
see a
your
Queen of Pain
heroes.
picked up from Team Aster, so heavy. They don't
I
have
like
the
it from
easiest
what
way.
I think they just needed to pick something that was ranged that was going to be able to deal with a Magnus if it ended up being mid. Bat Rider if it ended up being mid, and the Bloodseeker if it ended up being mid, right? So you don't want to be melee fighting into a Bat Rider or a Magnus or a Bloodseeker. It's just bad matchups for all of them. Lena was removed from the pool. Leshrac kind of sucks against the Bloodseeker because you want to be chasing people down. So Queen of Pain is much more capable of dishing out that damage much quicker. And now it actually gives you an advantageous matchup in the laning stage. But well, it's going to be XXS playing the Legion Commander, so not paired together with Monet. I wonder if they're going to change things up a little bit, switch their lanes, which Aster have been known to do based off of where TZY goes. So I think as much of the pre-Horn time as it is normally spent scouting out to see if they can go for some early kills, getting those wards up, it's all about the vision, it's all about the information. So if they can start walking towards the correct lanes for themselves, which they've shown that they're more than happy to do, they're happy to traverse the entire map without using that TP if it's going to give them that best early setup.
Yeah, I would really like to see from Aster in particular, even Dire as well, because it's important for how they get their lane set up. But I want to see smoke at the start, try and get a deep observe ward, scout out where these lanes are being positioned, and then you can, play according to that. I think that's the key factor. Like, you pick this Legion Commander mainly to go
Prepare
up
for
against the Bat Rider. So if you don't get the lane matchup you're looking for, then feels like, yes, the hero is still going to be, of course, incredibly a key component to their lineup as the game goes on, at least for the hard dispel for against the lasso, but I still feel like you want to lane him into Bat Rider, so I'd like to see them smoke.
Well, they did get out pretty quickly, and of course the Nyx Assassin already having pretty fast movement speed with the boots as well, looks to get up a decently deep ward. I know it's very important when you're playing against, honestly, not actually that important for this mid lane, right? Depending on who's going to be sitting there in the mid lane, it might be the Bat Rider. So TZY might be going mid just to get the best possible matchup into the Queen of Pain. But I'm not a huge fan of having this Observer Ward here because it's just dewarded so often. And if you've done your
30
research,
seconds to
you
battle.
can oftentimes just get rid of a ton of the vision, especially when you know the likes of, a Nyx Assassin or a Hoodwink might be coming, or a Chen with his creeps might be coming to just ruin your day. So much better to just put her on the high ground for mine. It gives you a lot of vision, it gives you a lot of understanding of rotations that might be happening, and protects it quite heavily from the sentry.
Might have a battle around this top bounty rune here. MagMa, they
The battle
got the strength in
begins.
numbers, and that will force Aster back. Okay,
Just the
Borax.
4-man shield
Yeah,
crash.
what do you know? What do you know?
It's so busted, man. It's so busted.
Okay, so this new keyboard, it's interesting for me, Danog. I can't fit,
yeah?
my fingers don't feel that it's small. Like, it's a tiny keyboard, and like I'm trying to press the hotkeys to open up, like, to get the graph, it's like F6, and scoreboard's like F5, and for some reason though, if I press that, it just opens up everything else. So I've got to press the function now to use it. It's interesting. Nice little new wireless keyboard for the time being. I got a nice Razer one coming though, and it's like yellow caps too or something like that. So it should be even a little bit more quieter. So it was an investment. I deliberately dropped the T on it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's just your fingers. You've been putting a lot of work in the gym. We know that. So you're just too swole right now to get the proper finger clicks going on with this smaller keyboard. But the big boy's coming soon, and hopefully we don't get another tea incident. There was the Boston Tea Party, and now we've got the Melbourne keyboard incident.
I can't tell what's worse, the Boston Tea Party or the Melbourne Tea incident. Like, honestly,
Denied.
could be the more recent one.
Mm-hmm.
I honed in on you.
Well, minute 30 in. No kills, of course. Early start to the lanes and seeing how they're able to formulate here. Should we be paying attention to any lane in particular? Is anything standing out to you with how the lanes are set up at the moment?
Really? I mean, actually they did end up putting the Bloodseeker in the mid lane, so I thought maybe considering he had the bottle queued up on the Bat Rider that he might be looking to go there into the Queen of Pain, but it's always going to be quite difficult, right? He's at least shoving the lane out somewhat well with Bloodseeker coming through here, but White Album, he should have an easy enough time just harassing him out. And yeah, as soon as he hits up onto that level 3, gets the greater value out of the Shadow Strike.
I guess
It's not going to have much contest of the runes as well, right? Because Bloodseeker not really a bottle builder.
yeah, which is a big thing, and also the Queen of Pain has very good mobility as well with this blink, so should be pretty free to jump back and forth. But
You just see, like, he shoved it again, right? So he's going to be able to at least secure this water rune, not feel quite as much of the effects of the Shadow Strike. It's still going to do its job in sustaining White Album, though, of course, with that extra, now that it's at level 2, 20 HP
Kaz?
per...
Oh. Borax almost finding that kill. So yeah, they did lane the Legion away from the Batrider, which I wasn't thinking they were going to do. This is our second Batrider pick that we've seen. Previously it was Old 11 playing it, and he got incredibly bodied in the laning stage, and TZY is already not having the greatest start as well. Maybe this kill can kind of catch him back up with the last hits that he's missing out on, but Monet finds the first blood before TZY can burn the Chen down to a crisp.
Very nicely done. I mean, I would say that's a huge rarity, the fact that you're able to get a first blood into a Batrider lane as a melee hero. Don't think it was a misplay necessarily. I think it was just very smart movement coming through from Lanham, making sure to get into those trees area where it's a little bit more clumped and able to get that double stun off to ensure that Monet was able to get that last hit before Lanham went down.
Denied. Death and gold.
And well, unfortunately there for TZY, it feels like his lane's still looking to be a bit more on the rougher edges here with this start. So again, like, do you remember that Batrider Old 11 game? Like, I was really surprised. I thought he was going to have a much better lane, and he just didn't get as much out of it, and the gameplay was, we didn't see his impact, and with already a difficult start from TZY, could be another replication here of Bat maybe in this patch.
Only able to land the one-man stun, though, this time, and those stacks are starting to build up. Lanham, he's going to try and get the Purge in onto slow them down a little bit, but unfortunately the CT Banisher not able to do the big work.
That is cool, though, from Aster. Like, still, I guess, having the Chen nearby to be able to find that creep, and even down bot, Borax killing off Kaz. So another kill here for Aster. But yeah, like, they're going on TZY. 1-8. Stun's already been used here. Dude, look at the Purge. What's the cooldown on this? Such a low cooldown. 5 seconds? Okay, so 3?
Yep.
Bit of mana issues.
3-second cooldown, 5-second duration. I'm sure Lanham, what's he got here? No, Kobold Form, and that's not what he wants. He wants to try and find one of those Hill Troll Priests for that 2.5 mana regen. That's going to be the dream.
We're already seeing the early rotation for Borax. This is a pretty deep dive, but with him being able to tank up the tower thanks to the shield crash, he still has to delay the inevitable for as long as possible. As I mean, the Rupture recognizes his demise soon to come, but at least they do get the kill before the Bloodseeker does.
Yeah, he just got another Banisher, by the way, from another stat he's built up for himself, so...
Very cool.
Goat boys running at him now with the siege creep as well, so a ton of damage being dealt into this tower, which, you know, you might expect as a Chen, but not into this lane.
And you were highlighting that Team MagMa are going to have big issues with how they can protect their waves and you really deal with the Chen, and well, it's super early on, and we're kind of seeing how Aster are able to break the draft wide open here early.
Get the deny off, and there was some smart micro as well coming through from Lanham as well, making sure to put the Banish that had the lower, or the Carapace stun coming through.
Don't see Bloodseeker, and he doesn't have Rupture, but that's not going to matter here. Even Borax is looking to swing on over. Maybe they can trade the life of Mian for Monet. Not favorable in the end, especially now with the Bloodseeker looking for the Rupture, but Lanham, nice recognition without a TP, so without a stun to be able to cancel, he'll make it away.
Nicely done. Good rotation coming through. You had to do something to be able to stop the Sven from farming as much as he has been. I don't think there's any ancient stacks being built up for him just yet, but within the jungle, there's a couple there. Not yet at the stage where you're starting to need to rotate constantly, as well as just abandon the lane on Monet. He's having to find enough time. And now he's got Borax up here on the top side, and they're going to make another attempt onto TCY with that slow.
TCY, can he get over the cliff? Okay. When I did pop...
Rare misplay from Borax. He overlapped the slow during the stun for about half a second, and that was all that they needed to be able to clean up that kill.
Worthy trip.
That puts God Strength on cooldown as well. Looks like Monet, he doesn't really have any stacks at the moment. Nice.
Just to the right with Lanham, he's trying to build up another one.
I see it.
It's not going to be with the God Strength available to be used. S-Mask's going to be nice though.
Even still gets a tower nonetheless, so even though that missed that kill, first tower of the game, do you feel like there should be a extra gold advantage for the team that gets the first tower kill of the game?
I don't want to reward Zoo meta any more than it already is.
True.
So no.
Very much so. I mean, it's... Oh, XXS? Already a blade mail. He's instantly rushed it. Unfortunately, now with it on cooldown, it's not really gonna persuade MagMa to stop hitting him as they'll drop the RP. XXS, pretty survivable at the moment. But finally, once that Nyx is able to find the last connection in the sun, they're able to bring down the position 3 on Aster. Now they'll turn to deal with the position 4 next as Rupture's out. And there's no extra reinforcements. I mean, Borax so tanky. I say that wide open. And they're actually going to kill Borax. He just gets to level 6 off the back of the kill. It'll bounce off the crystal. It looks like Borax is a natural on the position 4 Pango.
Honestly, I think a lot of heroes are naturals on this hero now. It's way too strong. The amount of damage reduction that you're able to get is insane. Just stand inside all of them and press W, XD. That's all you need to do.
I'm like, surely he's gonna die. Like, is legitimately he has to die, right? And no, he's just his shield crash. It's only level 3 too. Imagine once it hits level 4, and then even, you know, Chen maybe gets ultimate, or Chen's nearby with his extra sustain. Like, oh, that's bonkers.
I mean, everyone in chat's going like, oh, what are these guys doing on MagMa? What are they? I'm sorry, but if you've got a Pango who's already naturally fairly tanky, who's able to get some lucky shot procs, and have a shield crash reducing 51% of the damage that they're doing to you, that's going to give time for the rotation to happen. And when it's super early on, you don't have the damage to be able to go through that.
And with a super early net worth lead already for Team Aster, I mean, they're just going to hit their early game item timings at such a stellar rate. And again, we've got to revert back to it, but you were saying that MagMa, how are you going to deal with the push to come through? And you went for this last pick Mag. Like, a lot of the time, a Magnus is paired up with a really greedy draft that takes a little bit more time to come online because of you wanting to utilize that Empower to the fullest.
Sure, but he's the position 1, right? So he is the greediness in the draft, I suppose, that you could say. He's going to be very hard to deal with. The right clicks, of course. The Chen army can be completely obliterated if he's in a good position. So you never know. I mean, that's all. It feels like it's a lot about the burst potential. You know, the Bat Rider's going to take the longer team fights, the Bloodseeker as well. But you know, you get out of position once, and the Sharpshooter, the RP, the Cleave, it's going to be able to deal with you fairly well.
For the twins.
It's just getting to that point that's the issue. They've already lost tier 1 towers on the top and bot side.
White Album.
A little play on the White Album here.
Looks like he still blinks just out of range. It's far enough here with the 3 points in the blink, so the Rupture not finding that tick damage, and now they're actually thinking about going back in. How close is XXS to blink? He's got 1600 gold, so he's incredibly farmed on the Legion.
Yeah, and then they're just coming mid, right? Like, there's nothing that's going to stop them from pushing forward. And with that Rupture being used, Borax, he's free to just use the Rolling Thunder to scout around. He's not concerned about this Bloodseeker at all.
Is Borax just going to solo kill the Nyx? They've lassoed Quap, in fact, so White Album will be penalized there with his positioning. How did he get that?
Well, I mean, all of their teamfight control is Borax right now, right? So as long as he's off on the sidelines dealing with... he was hitting 3 different targets at one point, but the Bat Rider's the key one that they needed.
And without Legion being the vicinity to find that hard dispel, then maybe the lasso from the Batrider can give them some of these pickoffs to just give them a way to edge back closer into this game, and at least that kill gives them some space. They've got a really big stack as well by the Ancient, so Dust along with the Bloodseeker is going to split the wealth.
The thing is, with this for MagMa, yeah, it's going to build up into the Echo Saber now for the Magnus. He's almost reached his level 10, so he's going to have that longer empower duration if he feels like it. But you're coming into a lot of key item timings now for Aster. Nearly picking up the Helm of the Dominator on the Chen. You've got the Blink Dagger coming up within about 100 gold on XXS. And then not only is it great, of course, for starting team fights with the Blink Duel, but even if you're playing a little bit more of that passive role, you're able to get in onto the back lines and Blink dispel any kind of Batrider lasso.
Oh, poor Mian. I mean, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He was just stalking out the Queen of Pain. Unfortunately for him, he was doing it underneath the Sentry, so Pango was able to join them. Just a quick, easy 1-2 duo there, getting the pick off. A little bit of extra net worth for them. And meanwhile, Sven has pretty much been untouched as well. Top of the net worth is working on the BKB as the next item. More than likely as well is going to disassemble the Echo Saber to get it at a faster timing.
How the hell was the courier there?
Good question.
How could Bloodseeker get a kill on a courier that's there? Well, that's going to delay the Dominator timing for a minute and a half, but you've still got the Blink Dagger. Wonder if they're going to consider a smoke still. Lanham's holding on to one. Monet's just going to maybe finish up this Ancient, and then, yep, they're going to go as a team with that God Strength available. And
Blink as well from XXS is looking for the real, and they're going to run into Kaz. Always feels like at least if Legion able to find that dual victory, which he will with ease, you know, often getting a smoke for support doesn't feel worth it, but when you can scale like that, then you feel a little bit more comfortable for using a big utility item in the smoke.
I don't think Aster care all that much though, right? Because they popped the God Strength, they got the kill, they're starting to allow XXS to scale, and they're at least going to get a tier 1 hit as well, so they're fine with it. You know you're against a Magnus who wants to start cleaving down these Ancients as quickly as possible, so they've sentryed up the hard camp. It's going to hinder the amount that he's able to farm, and well, even if you take a big team fight, MagMa always run the risk that if they've got stuff stacked up, Sven's just going to go and take it.
As soon as you said that, Kaz came on over. Just the recognition of continuing to at least give whatever we can to Dust. So he's the highest net worth at the moment here from MagMa. Even Batrider's getting a decent amount of farm on TZY. Working on the Blink Dagger next item. How do you feel about this Blink? Because I feel like you're putting a lot of emphasis on getting a pick off with Lasso, but I think Aster are going to get to a stage where they can just 5-man and well, Legion can just pretty much counter this one item with press the attack.
Means that you have to get the Legion.
Very true. It's TZY. We'll just chase down the Chen. Still some sustains there. Can he survive long enough to get the Hand of God? Yes, he can. And they can even condemn off the Batrider for his positioning. There's another dual victory picked up here from XXS.
All right. To their credit, no huge ultimates or abilities used right there on MagMa's side, and now they've finally got the Blink Dagger available on the Magnus. So this is their time. They need to make a huge play. If they don't get, I would say, at least a triple kill going on now, it's going to become so much harder for them. But, well, Dusty's going to just positioning himself on the top side. If they're on point with their inventory scoping, they'll see that he's already picked it up as the siege creep push is attempted.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Bottom lane, though, they've still got that siege creep.
Yeah, they're actually going to TP down. They're a bit split on Aster. The Queen of Pain's not there for this fight, so they'll leave the charge on XXS. But there's the Legion target to disable the pressed attack. Dust going to jump just to Sven, but it looks like with the Ruptured Jag back, Monet will pop the BKB, but without the team to back him up underneath the tier 2 tower. It does give Aster some time to clean off the Nyx Assassin, but they still have to retreat, and unfortunately the Batrider has an answer to that. It's utilizing the lasso of the last second to lock in the Pangolier.
Okay, well, they were only able to get 2 instead of 3 kills, and it came at the cost of the Nyx Assassin, but at least it was Monet, right? You're going to be slowing down his push. The tower doesn't end up going down, considering how much he was tanking it with that God Strength and the Siege Creep attacking it, so I think MagMa can be fairly satisfied with how that went, but they were so close to hitting 3 with that RP.
Do you feel like Aster
Radiant's
just
top tower
look to
is
smoke
under
up?
attack.
I guess Gold Strength
Dire's
is up
middle
in
tower
40
is
and
under
same with
attack.
BKB, but you know, RP's on cooldown for a little bit. Even Lasso too.
I think they could afford to. I don't even believe that they had the Helm of the Dominator that time around. So now, look at this Chen army. It's just happy to move on forward and start to put a lot more pressure on, get
White
a lot of
Album?
information.
Uh-oh. Gotta be careful, Skewer. Maybe. Dust still has it on cooldown, unfortunately. Shockwave a bit too late as well for that kind of mini control that it can provide.
The neutral item situation. Like, we could see a pig pole for a Bat Rider. God damn, that's pretty busted. Ring of Aquila sitting in the sidelines. The Fey Grenade for mine is the one that's going to be
Dire's
absolutely
middle
nutty.
tower is under attack.
They're starting on Roche, but they also want the kill on the Hoodwink, and why not get both? Extra dual damage for XXS, allow him to scale, and then let's go back and hit Roche. A
And no
win-win.
RP either. And Magnus is sitting right underneath an Observer Ward.
Yeah, maybe even a
They're
kill
going
too.
forward.
Blink should be up in a couple seconds. Oof. Just a couple seconds shy there from White Album.
They're still bullying him away, right? Monet able to pick up that Aegis the Immortal. He's level 15 now, so the extra life steal on top of the Mask of Madness is going to come in real handy. And do you feel like Silver Edge is a little busted? Because I feel like we're seeing at least 3 or 4 every single game.
Yeah, I think it's... I mean, it doesn't even look like the greatest Silver's Edge game, right? Like, what do you... I guess Thirst? That's really it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we would... Well, firstly, we'd really never see this item unless it was, like, against a Sven. And, sorry, against a Timber, sorry. And even then, like, that was very, very uncommon. But now, I mean, we're just showing, like, how the buffs to it. With the crit coming through with the passive crit, but also the manual crit after you attack out of invis.
It's just so much in the one package, right? It's like one of those items that you're almost never going to sell that you could still get super early on into the game.
XXS. See if you get the blink off fast enough. Yes, sirree. So speedy with it.
All right, well, he actually changed things up on Monet. He's not going to pick that up. Going into a Lincoln Sphere and a Pos 1 Sven instead. Certainly something a little unorthodox, as they smoke up with 10 seconds left on the God Strength. Cooldown.
I think the like one thing we haven't... Oh, actually, hold that thought is, yeah, Dire, they're still looking to take the fight. They've got very good vision around the top side, and Dust isn't here at the moment. Can they catch, though? They're looking to try and stop the retreat on Kaz, and oh, in fact, he's going to walk back into them again. Another smoke for a Dual Victor and XXS. They've still got this lane war top. Bloodseeker showing...
Yeah, but they're backing off a little bit. Sven used the God Strength, and eventually he's going to join them after taking the Ancient stack, but are they a little spread out? That's what I'm concerned about.
Mion. Okay, is alright. So, one thing we haven't really brought up is that the Bloodseeker combo with the Lasso and the Skewer. We've always been big fans when we've seen like the Puck previously, like highlighting any forced mobility just to get that break of the coil, because it feels really nice. I mean, the damage from that is ridiculous. But in particular here, this game, how they're able to do a lot of damage to the Sven in that bottom tier 2 fight is they drop the RP, use the Rupture, and then skewered him under the tower. So it looks like Monet
Radiant's top tower is
probably
under attack.
going Lincoln's
Dire's
more
bottom
to
tower is under attack.
get rid of that Rupture potential, because I think that's how MagMa defend their high ground.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's happy with taking one of them, but like you said, that full combination, yes, it's using basically everything in Magma's arsenal, but I mean, the Sven is still the frontliner. He's still the one that needs to be out there hitting towers, and so you need to protect him as much as possible. I was just trying to get into the mindset of a carry, you know.
Yeah, I
thinking,
get sure.
Other people should buy it for me.
Goddamn carries, they're so greedy.
Dire's bottom tower has been denied.
It's very close. And this is really fascinating as well, because we do not see a lot of Legion commanders have this much dual damage at 21 minutes of the game. Like, it really feels like this hero's like transition into a lot more as White Album should... Okay, not gonna get the kill. Might be in trouble though. Yeah, we've really seen a lot of Legion commanders like transition into a very utility orientated hero with the Aghanim shard. Like if you don't get many duel victories at the first 15 minutes of the game, then it really feels like your farm is unable to keep up because you don't have the greatest farming mechanics. Like even max out overwhelming odds isn't the greatest.
I mean, I think because of that, credit just needs to be given for how Aster's playing, right? They're just playing constantly around Monet. He's getting a lot more active than a lot of Svens would.
Borax. Again, XXS. He's got the answer in the lasso, and now they're in a real wonky position here from the side of MagMa in the river. Ruptured out, skewer away, so Borax is still pretty tanky at the moment. Now the dual target's out, but the Legion doesn't have any extra damage. Finally, Monet's going to be able to swing on over with the Storm Hammer, cleans off the Bloodseeker, and now the rest of MagMa have to try and retreat. The Bloodseeker, without really having any extra help there, I mean, you saw he just got ripped apart, and also the Batrider TP'd out at the start of that fight there, so a little bit chaotic for MagMa, unfortunately.
Yeah, for me, it's stupid that a Sven can be doing 550 damage from a 900 range with that Fey Grenade. Not sure if that's just me that feels that way, but I feel like it shouldn't be just me that feels that way. And they're just going to continue to push forward. They do have Glyph, at least, but that ancient Black Dragon has been built up. It's after the 20-minute mark, so Lanim's been able to pick up that Aghanim shard for himself on the Chen.
And I really like what he's going for as well with the Aghanim Scepter. Like, I feel like we're going to see a lot more value after this. Like, Chen late game, it really feels like Helm Dom and Ag Shard is super key on this hero. But, you know, late game Aghanim Scepter, especially with this AoE hard dispel now, like, it's always been, Abaddons have been a big kind of counter pick into, like, Tides and Magnuses because you use your ultimate to dispel the stun, and then you've got a secondary dispel for a teammate. But now Chen, he can just sit super far in the backline, and any really hard team fights lineups, you just get this massive AoE, well, global, I should say, hard dispel, and then you turn the fight from there.
Yeah, it's gonna be real nice to be able to stop the likes of the Bloodseeker coming through. They're trying to get a kill onto XXS, and it feels like, you know, they'll take anything at this point.
Even Lanim's kind of poking his head out. Now you got all the Changlings, and now you got a dead Batrider too, as Queen of Pain wants more blood though to spill, unfortunately without the answer.
Mag TP'd in, but he doesn't have RP for another 20 seconds. He could just be in a position.
Borax. Yeah, he's gonna stop the retreat as well from MagMa. Instant BKBs, Bloodseeker. They're just gonna look to try and run away, but Monet can continue the chase. Shockwave into the stun, but it looks like they'll just have to, unfortunately, leave Kaz to sacrifice his life.
He did a very good job with being able to kite that out. You know, he lived for a lot longer than he could have, which meant that, you know, maybe they might have been able to chase Magnus instead if he didn't do as good a job at juking. But yeah, again, Dust's position, he's been on point so far for MagMa, but not this game. I think some of his rotations have been a little off. Now he doesn't have BKB for the, honestly, what should be the game-deciding team fight.
They did pop God Strength for that, so not going to get
They got a tower, right? Like, they got kills and a tower. You're happy with using a God Strength for that.
This Fey Grenade's crazy.
It is. It's so stupid. Even going for the HP regen from Press the Attack, realizing how much potential there is to take down that one target. Of course, you've already got the Hand of God protecting against, you know, any kind of aggressive movement from afar. So even if they're able to somehow get past that Lincoln Sphere, get past the BKB, that full combo, it's going to be a little bit less effective by that 100 HP regen over 5 seconds.
How do we feel like Team MagMa are able to come back into this game? Do they have a lineup to take the team fights that we've been seeing with the 5v5s consistently, or do you feel like they need some pickoffs?
Is this MagMa?
Yes, MagMa is. Unfortunately, it looks like Bloodseeker's in a whole world of pain. A BKB potentially into a TPR, but it looks like Monet even potentially has a physical damage to go through that attempt on the Bloodseeker. So he's just going to try and waste as much time as possible, but in the end will still fall.
But yeah, how do you take the team fights? That's the question. You know, you're running into two different heals, a Pangolier that's amazing at being able to create havoc in and chaos, that's very sustainable, and you can't even go on anyone but the LC, and it feels like the LC isn't the one that's going to decide the winner of the team fight, you know? Like, you take him out, sure, You still got a lot to deal with.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Their position for Pango. Have you seen his item?
Whose?
Borax. He's got a bloodstone.
Sure. Why not? Just more survivability. Some spell lifesteal.
So incredibly farmed here from Borax. 539. Been really impressed with, I mean, Aster in general, it has to be said. I mean, they are top of the standings as Legion, potentially leading into another kill on Dust. Might be able to BKB TPR. He'll go for the attempt. 1-8. Does he have the damage with the God Strength? Just shy. One more right click was all they needed to bring him down.
BKB used though. And, well, it's a longer Roche spawn. Another 35 seconds until it's going to be online. So, at least you're not going to be giving that up. The Ag Shard, of course, it's pretty decent this game. Any time that an LC is able to get one for free is always a bonus. Man, they're just putting their foot on the throat here. Queen of Pain almost finishing up her Daedalus, and she's, excuse me, been able to pick up a gem as well.
See her damage is going to continue to ramp up. I mean, 13,000 net worth lead, and MagMa are just really hoping on Dust to be able to somehow find a massive RP. Well, they get the start on XXS. Sharpshooter, still not enough damage. So they'll have to drop the skewer to combine with the Rupture to bring him down. It looks like, unfortunately, the Nexus cost him his life here, so we're 1-for-1. A couple of ultimates were used there from Aster to try and keep the Legion alive, and maybe now MagMa defending the high ground. TZ, why though? He kind of has to keep his position on the high ground behind MagMa and just overstepping the mark.
Yeah, definitely. I think they were in a really good position. They didn't use any of these key abilities on the Magnus, only using the Blink Skewer to make sure that they were able to secure the kill onto the LC, but you know, having Blink Dagger, BKB, RP, it's not worth all that much if you know, your cores are just putting themselves in a poor position and being taken out before they're able to get out their second complement of spells.
1-8. Look at his position. They'll run into Kaz, they'll run into the Bloodseeker as well. They want to try and deal with the Hoodwink to start. They should be able to do so with ease. The Stormhammer, no! Oh, that just tells the story of this game, even clipping on Dust as soon as he blinked in.
Oh no. And now they could just Roche. There's nothing stopping him from doing Roche.
Yeah,
it's almost GG territory. Like, I would kind of tilt out if that was me. Because you were in a nice position to be able to contest that, and I'm not sure they were expecting such an aggressive movement coming up from the Pangolier. So it's another time that Borax has been doing a great job of being able to break all of these smoke attempts.
poor old Dust is... Are they going to catch him? Man, lucky that 20 skill range. They don't see him at the moment, so that ward on the high ground not clipping him. I was going to say, like, he's doing everything he can here on the mag. He's 30 net worth, flawless performance in regards to death so far this game, but feels like it's really too tall of an order to ask here for them.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Were they last pick overall? I know Magnus was their last pick, but I think White Album had the response to it, right?
Yes, yeah, it was the Quap Ultra last.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Daedalus, bro. It'll do that.
And the Quiver. Dude, that's so much damage. This hero late game, it can deal a lot. Your attack time again is not the worst as Monet. They are split on Dire. MagMa maybe trying to come be the protective force to keep Kaz alive here. They've used their abilities on multiple heroes, though, not really prioritizing the first one. Well, now with the last with the Rupture, but Borax again protected thanks to the pressed attack. What a beautiful use of the abilities from Aster. He will fall nonetheless, but they've got the Purge on the Stormhammer, so the heals will offer no defensive capabilities. White Album looks to put Kaz in the grave as well.
They used so much to try and kill that Pangolier, even able to get him away from the LC quickly enough so that the press the attack wasn't able to save him, but it's just not enough. He's so tanky. That's why I feel like this Pango is like an A-tier hero. You can pick it in a core role, you can pick it in a support
Radiant
role.
structures
It
are
provides you great
fortified.
team fight initiation. It's versatile.
Radiant's middle
You're
tower is
tanky.
under attack.
Nutty.
Very nutty.
Radiant's middle
And
tower
it feels like we haven't seen this hero be penalized in the lanes. Like previously, it always felt like he was a pretty weak laner as XXS. They
Radiant's
catch the
but it's
Bat Rider.
immediate.
Yeah, there's no extra damage and the instant protection from the Chen, keeping Smonade alive well and truly at a stage where he can go back in if he needs to. They've even got the Ags on Lennon, why not? Bloodseeker. One last ditch attempt here from MagMa. He's trying to win the man fight versus the Legion. Can he even do so? Legion, the passives are coming through. It's not fast enough, unfortunately. And even Dust is going to put a last attempt in as well. When he can look to reset. Handa got back up in 30 seconds, but Borax, he's not going anywhere. Wants to make the Radiant base his own here.
Are under attack. Radiant's middle barracks has
The
fallen.
race car's zipping around a fair amount, and well, let's keep in mind that you've still got a Chen war standing around nearby, so you've got that extra armor, you've got that extra regen per second. He's finished up the Aghanim Scepter for the Hand of God as well, so provided that he doesn't get full comboed, and well, there's no RP, so that's not going to happen. They're in a very safe position right now.
Okay, they popped the Lincolns. Yeah, okay. They also just crit down the Bat Rider.
He used the second Lincolns, I think. That was what happened.
Still got Aegis here, Sharpshooter. We'll pop it. But how do you kill him a second time? Maybe Skewer. Is there any more stun lock afterwards? Wide open. Just instantly blinks away. Never going to give himself more protection, but they don't have the secondary Lincolns now to stop the Rupture. This is really being so far. I mean, MagMa are 22,000 gold down, but we've really only seen them get kills off the back of like a Rupture Skewer or a Rupture Lasso, and that's kind of why I was bringing up like the farm priority and seeing if he went for the Aghanims or something like that.
I mean, yeah, and Aghanims is always going to be fantastic on the Bloodseeker when you're against this kind of lineup. When you need multiple people running at you, when you're able to break the Lincolns with one of them and maybe use it for the second one.
Chen?
Another thing here, but yeah.
Who's found who? Looks like Aster. They were just maybe dangling the Chen to give the XXS Legion more duel victory. There's even Mian getting targeted at the moment, but over towards the backline, he's still the Mag Dust. This is really deep to kill Lenham. And unfortunately for him, it's going to cost him his life, as at least the Bloodseeker's cleaning up some heroes to the side of the fight, but he doesn't have the extra help of his position 1 carry in the Magnus, and now even this is your position 4. Your Pangalee is just soloing the Bloodseeker. Like, he's got so much farm. Like, Borax has just been an S-tier player so far through the groups. A dieback for your Knicks, and finally they'll tap out.
Probably could have happened about 10 minutes earlier, if I'm being totally honest. I think Aster, the way that they played around each other was fantastic, making sure that XXS was able to scale into the later stages, not only, of course, from the dual damage, but also the net worth needed to pick up some of those key items, so that he was always in a position to save these tankier heroes. And, well, I think perhaps MagMa could have done a better job with being able to find the more ideal target at the start of these team fights. LC was definitely the one, but they didn't do that for the first 3 or so attempts. And again, they're fully committal with their lineup, right? Like, once you use the Rupture, once you use the Lasso, you're in. You got to use everything, and it just never felt like they synced up with everything together. Whereas with Aster, you either use the duel, or you get the Sven going in with a Shadow Blade, or hell, it's just a position 4 using his ultimate in the Pangolier, and you're not really all that concerned because you've still got plenty of fuel in the tank.
Yeah, 1000%. It just felt like it was a little bit disconnected, unfortunately, for MagMa. But again, we've seen previously that this has been a team that doesn't mind going to the full distance game 3. Unfortunately for them, though, they're going to have to try and take game 2. It all comes back down to the draft and seeing if they can get a little bit of advantage there in the second game. But for Aster, still another stellar performance from them. They are yet to drop a series, and MagMa looking to be the first team to do so, but they've got to take this second game to force a full best of 3. We'll take a break with game 2 around the corner.